What is it about St. Bonaventure teams, regardless of the season, where they are always one of the toughest outs in this conference? What is it that Coach Schmidt does that just makes them so difficult?
Yeah, I think he's just a great coach, you know, and he finds the guys that fit his system, and you know, guys that have talent, guys that can score, guys that can defend. They're just well balanced, you know, on both sides of the ball, and they make it difficult for you to score. You know, they're willing to change their defenses to, you know, if you figure one out, he'll go to another. And offensively, he's as good a coach as we have in our game.
How are you guys different from the first time you met up there a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much different. I mean, I think certainly we didn't play our best defensive game, you know, up there for sure. Offensively, we probably scored enough to have a chance to win, but you know, defensively, we didn't do what we needed to do in terms of making them at least somewhat uncomfortable.
How well road tested is your team? I know it's early. You played 5 or 6 conference games, but
yeah, I mean, it feels like we haven't played many at home. You know, the one Fordham game, no fans here, and then you know we've had the St. Louis game, so we've been on the road. And the guys have fared well and done a nice job in a tough beginning stretch, you know, to the conference. But you know, you can look at it 2 different ways: 3 or 4 on the road here, but we also have 3 or 4 at home, you know, as well now. So you know, we got through those first 2, and you know, we need to do our best here at home.
Furman left last game early and didn't return. Do you have an update on him?
Yeah, it's just going to be a game time. You know, I typically give you all the info. It's just going to be a game time decision because it's such a quick turn. You know, he was trying to run on it at halftime, and they did a nice job getting him upright, but wasn't available for the second half.
Was
So
it just a rolled ankle?
yeah, just an ankle.
how does that? Is it a challenge? I mean, you guys are deep, which is a nice problem to have in situations like this. But how does it affect the way you get ready with your rotations and especially your front court and things like that when a game time decision like this does come up?
It definitely impacts it. I mean, we've certainly played the smaller lineup, you know, more recently anyway. You know, and it's been pretty good for us. But you know, certainly Luke's got to step up, you know, again, and we'll just see if Firm's available. But you know, it doesn't change much in how we do things.
Kind of simple one for you. How do you feel like the team's playing right now? Are they at where you expected them to be late January with you know, the end of the season also on the horizon at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just literally just focused on trying to improve every day. I think that's the goal for us right now is trying to get a little bit better. And sometimes, you know, it's through film. Sometimes it's through walkthrough. Sometimes it's through, you know, heavy practice or skill work. You know, and then within the games, you know, I want our guys to be really fresh, you know, in the games and ready to play and battle, use our depth, you know, be disruptive. And I think for the most part, the guys understand, you know, how we have to play in order to win. And, you know, certainly each game has been a little bit different in terms of who's stepped up for us in each game. But, you know, the veterans have to be there, you know, every game, at least a portion of them for sure.
Coach, how do you put into words what Obi means to this program as a human being, and how cool was that moment for everyone?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, you could see, you know, the bench, you know, afterwards, you know, after he made the free throws and got the ball initially, then got the offensive rebound and got fouled. You know, how excited everybody was. You know, he comes every day. He's been through a lot, you know, with the knee surgery and ACL injury there, and that's not easy. Anybody that's been through that type of, you know, trauma, you know, from an athletic injury, you know, can put a lot of doubt in your mind when you come back. And it's a lot of hard work to come back and just to get it to a point where you can, you know, play competitively again. And so we're all proud of him, you know, for the fact that he was able to get back And then, it's when you're in his situation, the reward is the end of the game, hopefully. You get in there like you did the other night. And but every day he's doing the same stuff that all the other guys are doing. And so it takes a special person to do that. And
Lots of scout team prep.
yeah, scout team prep and just in general, sitting through a lot of film sessions, and you weren't out there, and we're not watching you play on the film. And, but it takes a special person to realize the impact that they have through what they do every day, through the example that they set each day. And certainly, Obi does a really good job with that.
As projections and net rankings and all of this comes out, I'm sure you don't pay that much attention to it, but does it ever seep into your mind or the players' minds when you start to find yourself on this bubble like VCU often is, in terms of maybe beating teams by a few more points, or does it have any impact on how you coach a game or what you discuss with the players?
No, I mean, the ultimate goal is to win the game, right? And no matter, what, the metrics say you're supposed to win or lose by, it doesn't really matter. Once you get in the game, are they going to keep you out of the tournament because you didn't beat this particular team by this many points? I doubt it. It's the totality of your body of work, and winning obviously matters. And, for us, we have to just continue to do our job and continue to focus on each game that comes, and we can't get clouded with what's 2 months ahead. At this point, for us, we have a job to do. It's early in the conference season, and nothing's been established really at this point, and so our focus is completely on what's right in front of us.
You have two freshmen making a big impact. How have you seen the upperclassmen grow in their leadership in helping Brandon and Luke through the ups and downs of the season?
Yeah, they're always there for him, right? And if something goes awry, they're there to pick them up and help them and coach them. They've been through a lot. You think about the number of games that all of these guys have played, in the hundreds, right? And Luke's just in whatever. He's in right now. I think, what are we at right now? Is it 19? Yeah. So, Brandon's at 19. And some of those games they didn't play a whole lot, right? And so you're going to have some ups and downs, as freshmen do. But I think both of them understand how they can impact this particular team, from a winning perspective. And they try to do it every day that they come in and every game that they play. And the upperclassmen certainly, and the coaching staff is very trusting of those guys.
You obviously, with Brandon, you don't recruit kids to sit on the end of the bench. You saw something in him. Did you expect him to play this much when you recruited him, or did you expect him to be this good this quick?
Certainly I wouldn't have recruited Brandon if I didn't think he was going to be good enough to play for us, right? And so, we have veterans, here, like Terrence. Like, had Terrence been on last year's team, I told him the other day, like, Terrence would have played a lot of minutes. He's just not on last year's team. He's on this year's team. And so sometimes it is the way it shakes out. And that's not a knock on last year's team. It's just that team needed someone like Terrence. And, for this year's team, Brandon has stepped into a role that, is really impactful. He comes in and he gives you that energy and that effort and defensive intensity, athleticism, while maintaining the IQ on the offensive end. That's really good for us as well, and understanding what his role is on the offensive end. And, it's been fun to watch him, kind of mature into that role. And it started pretty early because Zeb was out, and so he was kind of forced into it early. And but again, anytime you recruit kids, you're not sure. I mean, you know their talent, or their character, why you want them to join your program, but you don't know until you start practicing and you get them out there, and there's competition involved with determining who's playing and who's not. And Brandon certainly has earned everything that he's gotten.
Thomas had, I think, 15 in the first half the other night, and then 4 in the second. Brandon guarded him for a long time. It was a big part of slowing him down. Has he kind of become your defensive stopper on the perimeter when you've got an opposing guard?
Yeah, I mean, we have confidence in a lot of the guys on defense. You know, I think, but certainly Brandon, you know, that's one of his, you know, many roles that he has when he comes in the game is to put pressure, you know, on the other team's guards. You know, and he can guard 1 through 3. He can guard the point guard and pressure him up the court like he did the other night. But he also can guard bigger guys as well and switch. So he's a versatile player. Plays much bigger than his height, you know, from a quickness and athleticism standpoint. But, you know, I think the other night, you know, Thomas got loose in transition, you know, a couple of times. And I think some of that was self-inflicted by us in the first half. You know, we foul him, you know, it goes into the bonus right away. He shoots 2 easy free throws. That kind of started the run. You know, foul 94 feet from the basket. And then we had a couple of turnovers, you know, that turned into baskets for him. And so when you do that against good players, you know, it gets them going. In the second half, the offense was a little bit better. You know, we got shots, which allowed us to set our defense, and we become harder to score on. You know, Brandon's certainly a big part of that.
Zeb, I think 25 over the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, early in the season, it was kind of stunted by the injuries. Do you see him playing his best basketball of the year so far? Do you feel like he's 100% this point?
I think, yeah, health-wise, he's 100%. I think from a basketball perspective, I think he would tell you, too, like he can improve, right? And we all can and need to, right? I mean, it doesn't stop with him. Max, you know, Phil, you know, all of our guys, you know, Joe's hit a stride recently. It's been really good and really positive, you know, for us. And so you know, I think all of them feel like they can play a little bit better. And, you know, I think they're all, you know, watching film and trying to figure out how defenses are, you know, trying to play them or slow them down. And then, you know, where are the areas on defense that we need to continue to get better. And, you know, it's been fun to watch these guys connect and gain confidence together.
Someone online last year called you the king of drip, citing that the team has worn 5 different uniforms this year. How much input have you had in each of those, and sort of what do you think of sort of the nickname?
Well, I'm not sure about the nickname. I definitely don't fancy myself as having that, but I do like gear. I like uniforms. You know, it makes sense for your team to, when they take the court, to look good, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite NFL uniform?
That's a tough question.
Not the Dolphins? You don't like the Dolphins colors?
I don't know. I like the Broncos ones, the nice alternates they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about the NBA?
That's also, I mean, you can't go wrong with the classic Lakers or Celtics.
There you go. Okay.
What's your favorite of the 5 this year?
I like the new gold, I think. Yeah. I like the new gold. I think that's a good look. You know?
Whose idea was that one? Was that yours?
So, yeah, it was a collaborative effort, right? So Chris Coleman, Kelsey, and myself all kind of do it. And so occasionally we'll include the players and let them look at it and see and give their opinion. But it's, collective effort.
You had all those options at Hampton City, right, when you were?
Oh, yeah, we had one, you know. Now they wear all the colorful shoes now. I think they just appreciate me letting them wear whatever shoe they want to wear. Back in the day, we had to wear the same color as the school and all that, but it doesn't work that way anymore. Anything else?
You're obviously playing the team on Friday that handed you your only Atlantic 10 loss so far. Are you guys trying to treat it like any other game, or fans buy into the revenge narrative?
It's the next game for sure, but it's obviously a big game. You know, we were right there, you know, in that game against St. Bonaventure up there, and they came out with a victory, and it was disappointing for us, but, you know, we're excited